Hello, today I'm going to show you how to enter recipes into your Cookbook web account. I've already logged in, so I'm going to click on the Recipes tab, and then we want the subcategory Add a Recipe. Here you will see boxes for title, contributor, ingredients, and instructions. To the right-hand side, you will see a list of suggested abbreviations. How you abbreviate is a personal preference, but it is recommended that you keep your abbreviations consistent. It gives your cookbook a professional look and makes it easier for people to use. To hide the suggested abbreviations, click on the title once. To bring it back, click on the title again. To enter a recipe, start by typing the title. Next, in the Contributors box, list the person who submitted the recipe for the cookbook. We recommend keeping names consistent. We've seen cookbooks where the same person was listed as Anna Smith and Annie Smith. This can be confusing when people have similar names. To do a family cookbook or even a church cookbook, it can get confusing unless the names are kept consistent throughout. For large groups, we recommend you keep a list of contributors and make sure you check spelling, as spelling names correctly is very important. In this example, we're going to type in Anna Smith. Next, we're going to select our category. There's a drop-down box, and we're going to go down to cookies and candies. For ingredients, make sure you list them in a single column. Our software will format the ingredients into 2 columns, so it's critical that you keep them in a single column with no spaces between. We're going to enter some ingredients here for this recipe. You'll see that I have an autocorrect suggestion here, and when I click on that, it's going to suggest the correct spelling. That is browser-based, so if you update those spellings, they will stay through all your recipe entries. Once you've entered in your ingredients, if you have a second set of ingredients, for example, if this recipe had a frosting that went on top of the fudge, you can simply type in frosting in all caps and then add the ingredients for that. When you move on to the instructions box, we recommend typing the directions in paragraph form. By typing in paragraph form, you will be able to convey the instructions in a very economical way. If you list directions in steps where each step is on its own line, or if you add blank lines between the directions, then it will take more room in the book and more pages than what we estimate. Note that if you have recipes in step format or have blank lines between them, then your book price may be more due to the paper cost of needing more pages. We're going to put some instructions in for this recipe. You'll note I just used the asterisk instead of the degree symbol. If you look over at the punctuation tips, you'll see that that's noted here. The degree symbol can sometimes get in the way of formatting, so by putting an asterisk in its place, we can easily globally search and replace all of those when we format your book. Okay, and once we've got our directions in, same way as with the ingredients, we can add a frosting if we need to. Okay, after the frosting, it is possible you may have a special note or memory or variation. Those should be placed at the bottom of the directions. And you can note those by simply doing the same thing we did with frosting. And this is what it looks like if you don't capitalize that. Because our system is set up to keep books economical, our software automatically eliminates blank spaces in the directions. If you do want to have a blank line included, then we recommend tapping the spacebar twice to hold it in place. It's also a good idea to include a note in the finalized order section, letting us know you are intentionally placing blank spaces and you understand it may cause your page count to run long. An example is if we wanted to put a blank line here and have it hold, I'd push the spacebar twice. Now before clicking Add a Recipe, make sure you go through and read through your recipe. And I'm intentionally leaving a mistake in this one so we can go back and correct it later. Now, once we've gone through it, made sure the name was spelled correctly, I'm going to click on Add Recipe. If I do want to go and edit that recipe, I can go to the View Edit Recipe subtab. And I'm going to look for that peanut butter fudge over in the list here. Click on it. Bring it up. And I noted down here, when I'm reading through there, marshmallow does not look right. So I'm going to go ahead and correct the spelling of that. I've decided I want to go as economically as possible, so I'm going to remove that blank space. And I've decided I don't want to include the variation. Now that I've gone through and checked that recipe over, and I know it's been proofread, I can click on the Proofread button and then Save Changes. Once I exit out of the recipe and refresh the browser, it'll show that that peanut butter fudge has been proofread. If I need more recipes included, I can go up to the Add a Recipe box, click Add Recipes with Cookbook Specialists Library, select a category, look down through, and I'm going to select, we're going to go Coffee Shop Fudge. I want to view the recipe. I'm going to place it in a category. In this case, I'm going to put it with cookies and candies. I'm going to add a contributor. And I'm going to go down here and add a note. And then add recipe. And it tells me the recipe's been added. I'm going to scroll down, exit out of that. And then when I go to View Edit Recipes, that's going to show up right here. Same thing, I can go in, make changes, proofread, exit. And if I refresh my browser, that proofread checkmark will show up. If you have invited contributors or typists, they will only be able to access the Add a Recipe page and not be able to go back in to make edits. They will need to be able to contact you for those changes once they have added a recipe. We have blogs on how to prevent typos and entering recipes that you may find helpful. We also have resources for working with groups of contributors and typists, and there are videos and other resources to help you give instructions on entering recipes to them. Thank you for watching. Check out our other YouTube videos or our blog for more information on how to use the web account and tips for creating your cookbook.